Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Ravi Kumar Poluru, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology. So today we are going to discuss about the topic improving automation. So what is meant by automation? So why we required automation? Is it necessary to use the automation in industries? So most of the organization mainly using the automations. So why means instead of using the more human interventions, this automation will be mainly used to minimize the work here. Now we'll see the what is the main benefits and challenges by using these automations. So first, automation is nothing but the application of technology, programs, robotics, or process to achieve outcomes with minimal human input. It means with less human intervention of things, the technology are mainly used. It will be automatically using the different types of the technologies, domains, and various programs. And mainly it depends upon the robotic the process, and the outcome will be very high compared to the human intervention. So this is the first definition. So we'll see the another definition how this automation will be described. So automation is nothing but mainly it varies of the technologies and minimize the human interventions. How they're going to minimize these human interventions in the process, so that the predetermined decision criteria, sub-process relationship, and related actions, as well as the mainly predeterminations in machines. So when they're using these automations are mainly used to minimize the human interventions here. It means when there is minimizing the human intervention, the more computations of the data will be happen here. So here the robots or the machines will be performing the automated work with the help of the tools and the technologies in the industry side here. So this is the another approach using the automations, and we can have the different type of the definition. It means the creation and the application of technology to monitor and control the production and delivery of products and services. So here, when you're using this automation, so they can create the various technology, and it will be monitoring. So, and here mainly it will be controlling the productions. So automatically, with the help of these automations, the tools and the technology, it will be planned, having the very in detail the plan, the monitoring and the control of the production, so that it will be delivering the goods on time. So here, when you're using these automations, it will be very helpful to the organization. So the time reduction will be happen here. Okay. So here, when you're taking this automation software, in this automation software, so we have the various steps, the layers. The first one is streaming business procedures. So here, streaming business procedures is nothing but when human is doing the paperwork in detail, they may have to take the more time, okay, and doing the multiple works, and the delay will be happen, okay, and time taking is very high, and the calculations of the data will be very high, and the processing time also will be very high here. So to reduce this in business, mainly they're using these automation softwares to minimize these works. Okay, and next one is minimize overhead expenses. So when you're taking the human interventions, okay, so the mainly they're using this paperwork. So when they're doing this paperwork, it may be having the expensive will be very high, because it may be cost the process, or it may be cost for the paper, or it may be cost from traveling, and different types of the resource allocations will be happen. So instead of that, this automation software will be mainly they're checking that how they're going to minimize or reduce this overhead expenses. Next one is better management inventories. Okay, so human can do the work in a proper manner, but the time taking, the cost will be very higher. So how to reduce this? Better way to minimize this one means they're using these automation tools and the technologies so that automatically with the help of the softwares, it will be generating the inventories or salary slips, or the data will be generated with minimal human interventions. And how the next one is improving customer experience. So how they're going to improve this customer experience? Best example, if you're taking the Amazon, okay. So when they're purchasing any product, okay, if they're not satisfied with the product, or if they're satisfied with the product, so mainly they're going to give the feedback. So based upon the feedback, different types of the experience, and also the customers will try to purchase the order, or by checking the feedback, they're going to whether they will decide that whether they need to take that particular product or not. And also if they face any problem while they're purchasing or returning the product, so instead of directly contact with the customer care services, they have the automation tools so that they can interact through the chatbot, and they can give some inputs. Based upon the inputs, it will be giving the possibility solutions. So there it will be improving the more customer experience. Next one is eliminating errors. Humans can do more number of errors while they're writing the code or doing the some processing text or doing the data works like that. So with the help of the automation software, so it will be minimizing the errors. So these are the main steps with this automation software will be minimizing the human intervention. So it will give the complexity will be less, and also expensive also will be minimized, and errors or the issues will be minimized here with the help of the automation software here. And next one is we have the different types of the phases for improving the automation. The first phase is planning. So this project manager must have in detail planning how this templates projects will be there, and they need to maintain the document, and approval will be required for from the senior management, and timeline estimations, the duration of the project, and initial task assignments has to be done to the different types of the team members. So this will be comes under the planning. Next one is execution. So in the execution, the notifications has to be done. So each and every time, so we need to alert to the team members to do the work in a particular in time. Next one is new task assignment. So after completion of the first model, so they need to assign the different types or new task assignment to the team members, and they need to verify about the what is the status of the work. So they need to give the in detail report. So in that report, they need to scrutinize each and every point. So whether they're doing the work of the project in a proper manner or not. Next one is scheduling meetings. These meetings will be very helpful for execution of a projects. Okay. And next one is form submission. So in the form submission, they need to check that what is the feedback of the employee and how much work they are going to do, and whether any deviations will be happening in that during this project. Next one is monitoring. So in the monitoring, the resource tracking will be there. Okay. What is the allocation of the resources? So the efficient resource utilizations by the automation tool will be very helpful to the projects. And dashboards, reporting, scheduling meetings will be monitored by the project manager. And the last one is the closure. It means the final stage of the project. So here, follow up. Okay, they need to follow up the what is the status of the project, and what are the any deviations will be happening in during this project. So what is the cost and budget, as well as the what is the schedule of the project, and the data storage, where this data can be stored. Okay, so what are the possibility ways to store the data? So how to minimize this data storage, and scheduling meetings will be happening. So in every stages, they should be scrutinized properly to check out the phases of the automations. Okay, so these are the main four stages for the automations to helpful for the organization as well as the for the projects to do the project in time as well as the cost. Okay. Now we'll see what is actually the automation will be helpful. So automation here is not something that should be done as afterthought, but the way thing is we need to improve the efficiency and the productivity. So when you're using the automation, the main aim is we need to improve the efficiency and the productivity. So it means within the time we need to produce more products, and efficiently we need to deliver the goods. Okay, and we need to understand the procedures and the process, and we need to check that what is the duration, means time, how much time will be taken by the each and every process, and also what is the information we need to gather, and how these automations will be reducing the time. Okay, so when you're using these automations, so instead of, for example, if the human is taking the 10 hours time, so when you're using these automations, it need to minimize at least 3 hours time, so that it will be very helpful to produce the more productivity compared to the human. So what are the main things to identify and automate project managers? So we have few steps here. First one is we need to verify about the day-to-day task. So in this day-to-day task, they are going to check that what is the most repetitive as well as the time-consuming resources, and automation tools will be there to do the task in a within stipulated time. Next one is narrow down your list, so that instead of doing the 10, so we need to minimize at least 8, so that it will be save the time, and also and cost also will be minimized with the help of the automated tools. And we need to in detail write down about the step by step workflow. So this task has to be done within this scheduled time. Okay, so like that they need to write the workflow, so that it will be very helpful to complete the process on time. Okay, and also the project manager software has to be computerized and automate the task here. So instead of that, here they need to verify about the data has to be, everything has to be computerized, and also the tools and the technology has to be automate the task. So it will be very efficient to complete the task within the schedule. Okay, and when you are using these tools and environment in the software process, mainly they need to check the linear effect. It means within that productivity of the process has to be completed on the time online. So here in this, when you are taking the automated tools, mainly they are going to verify about what are the planning tools and requirement management, visual modeling, compilers, editors, debuggers, quality assurance, analysis tools, test tools, and various user interface has to be come into the considerations when they are using the automation. So when using these different types of the tools, it will be very helpful complete the task and minimizing the time also. So here mainly when you are taking these considerations, these it will be impact of the tools and automation, so that it will be helpful to improve from 20 to 40%. So that's why mainly the automations is very helpful to minimize the time and provide a very efficient way, and the productivity also will be improved here. So that's why mainly the tools and environment are the primary delivery vehicle for the process automation and improvement. That's why the impact is very high here when you're considering the automation here. So here, and also we need to check that reduce the scrap and rework. So actually in the automation, the process improvement will be happen when you're minimizing the reducing the scrap and the rework here. And we need to check that unnecessary data has to be minimized here, and we need to eliminate the unnecessary data, and what are the manual tasks are there, we need to upgrade it to the automate, and it will be very efficient way also. So when you're taking the manual task, it will be very inefficient, as also it will be generating more error here. So to improve the efficiency, we need to convert from manual task into the automate task here, so that where it will be generating the process will be very efficient way and minimizing the errors also. And also here, when you're considering this software process, they may be having the new challenges and opportunities for the management control and as well as the quality assessment here. The project experience is mainly integrated with the facility and the enforced management control here. So when they are taking the project, they need to verify about what are the various tools and the technologies are going to implement here, so that how much they're going to generate the quality. Okay, so here we have the when you are considering this environment, we have the symmetric integration and process automation. It will be improving the productivity and also quality, and adapt to the modern techniques here. So that's why the automation will be very helpful to improve the productivity and the quality. And next one is when you're taking this automation, so mainly it will be checking that what are the various system builds and regression test will be happened, so that checking all the different types of the iterative models in the development teams, and here it will be providing more robust. So when you are using this automation, it will be generating the robust work. So it means the development process will be very handling very smoothly. And in the environment, so we have the requirement management and document automation, host or target programming tools, automated regression testing, and continuous and integrated change management, and various future or the defect tracking will be happen in the tools and the technologies here. So here mainly they need to verify what are the techniques and the tools will be happen, so that to minimize the human interventions here. Mainly in the automations, here also we need to write the coding as a software. So we need to write the appropriate coding, so that we need to hire good people, and with these good people must be use the good tools, so that it will be very helpful and achieve more success in the software projects. When right person is using the right tools, the project will be success in the particular job. If the person is using, if the good people is using the wrong tools, then they cannot achieve the profit in the organization. So that will be very lacking in the organization, providing the resource allocations to the good people here. So that we need to check that, hire the good people and have the good tools, so that it will be success to the software projects. Okay, and these automations mainly used for the payback in quality. So when you're using these automations in the design, so it will be providing the quality and also estimating the cost and schedules, and providing the productivity like a smaller teams here. So mainly when you're using these automations, it will be providing the more quality of the components in the design part, and estimating the what are the different types of the components and schedules and the cost in the productions as well as in the design part here. When the tools will be integrated, okay, so that we can have incremental or iterative development, it will be traversed very quickly from development to the up to date of the technology and the tools in that particular automations. So we have the different types of the engineering. We know that forward engineering will be there, okay, and next one is reverse engineering, and round trip engineering will be there. Okay, so forward engineering is nothing but when you're writing the code, this code can be converted from, the code will be converted into the pictures of the models. And in the reverse engineering, for example, when you're doing the, packages or deployment in the UML, so this can be converted from UML diagram into the code. So that is mainly it is used as a reverse engineering. And round trip is nothing but mainly it will be using the key capability of the environments and support iterative development. It means it is a combination of forward and reverse engineering. Okay, so there we can have the automation support, more efficient and error-free transition. So when you are using the automation, there it will be producing very efficient and effectively, and minimizing the errors, transmitting from one artifact to the another artifact. So here we have the another engineering called forward engineering. Forward engineering is nothing but it is the automation of one engineering artifact from another. So more can have the abstract representation. Example, compilers and the linkers have provided the automated transition. It means from the source code into the executable code. So it will be converting from the source code to the executable code will be converted. So that is what we call as the forward engineering. Next one is reverse engineering. So reverse engineering is nothing but the generation or modification of more abstract representation. It means from the visual design. Okay, so it will converting from the visual design into the source code representation. Okay, or from the source code representation to the visual. So they can be convert from the source code to the executable, that we can call as the forward engineering. And here from the visual design model and we can convert to the source code. So that is we can call as the reverse engineering. And whereas round trip engineering, sometimes we can call as it is a combination of forward and reverse engineering. So here in the round trip engineering, so we have the environment support need to change and anti-craft freely. They automatically changed, the consistency is maintained. So when you are using this, the set of requirements, design, implementations and deployment, so it will be maintaining that consistency, maintainly, and have the automatically it will be changing the consistency based upon the requirements, the design, implementation, and where we are using the different types of the articraft in the deployment also. Whereas in the architecture, so mainly they need to concentrate on the heterogeneous, not on the homogeneous. Heterogeneous components is nothing but they can have the different various types of the components, the platforms and the languages, and having the complexity of the building, controlling and maintaining the large scale webs of components. So when you are having the architecture, we need to verify about what are the various types of the components. These components has to be used the different types of the components in the architecture part, so that it will be very helpful for building as well as the controlling and maintaining for the large scale configuration and controlling the automation of the build management. So nowadays mainly we are using the automation so that it will be very easy to support for the possibility of the software projects. The best example we are considering here, automated test case construction from use case and scenario description, so that it will be checking that various types of the cases and integrated into the unit test case scenarios. So it means yeah, we are taking the different types of the modules and we are trying to combine into the single, that we can call as a unit testing here. Okay, so whereas compared to the project manager, their tools can be handled by the vendors. These vendors can have the accurate individual assessment of life cycle. So vendors also can take these tools to support for the economic impact. So here mainly these vendors will try to influence to the project manager to use these particular tools so that the cost will be minimized here. So easy to find statements such as following from the companies in a particular tool. Instead of giving the project manager, sometimes the vendors also they try to influence to use the modern tools here. First one is requirements analysis and evaluation activities consume 40% of life cycle cost. Whereas for the design, it will be impact the more than 50% of the resources. In the coding and unit testing, it will be consume 50% of the software development effort and the schedule. And in the testing activity, it will be consume 50% of the project resources. So various planning, requirement analysis, design, architecture, and coding and the testing part will be using the more statements like these tools will be mainly impacted for use in the project integrations. And when you're taking the configuration control and the change management, there it will be having very critical and consuming the 25% of the resources on the large scale project. For the documentation also, it will be using the 30% of the project engineering resources. So whereas for the project management, business administrations, progress assessment can consume 30% of the project budget. It means when you're having the automations for the tools, so these will be having the different types of the phases can be used the different types of the percentage in each and every stages. So when you're taking the individually, these climbs will be totally comes like a wrongly. So that what they will do means, so instead of these climbs, the cost of the budget will be 275% of the budget, and scheduled resources will be, so instead of 100%, it means the cost will be double or triple. It means 275% of the budget will be happen, and schedule will be very consisting of more here. So that's why we need to minimize. There should not be any mislead for the clients of the, when you're having the manual task. So that's why the main conclusion of this having for the tools means we need to use the very efficient manner. Okay. So this testing tool will improve your testing productivity by 20%. So instead of using the manual task, when you're having the automated, this will be improving the testing productivity by 20%. And this test activity consumes 50% of the life cycle and produces the 10% of the net productivity gain. So overall, within the $1 million budget, we can spend so $1 lakh on test tools here. So here, the cost and the time will be minimized here. So when you are using the tools in an efficient manner, so that we can minimize the 40% of the cost will be minimized here. So here, individual tools will improve the project productivity by more than 5%. So even though when the individual tools also when you are handling, the cost will be minimized by the more than 5%. So overall, we have seen that 275% of the climb have been happened. So when you are using these efficient tools, so here we can have only the 100% of the total must be deal with the real world. It means we can totally 175% of the cost has been minimized when you are using the efficient and effective tools for the automation. And here in this picture, we can see that where these industries are mainly investing the most in the RP means robot. So robotic per area. It means each and every sectors they are going to implement here. In the healthcare, they are using the 30%, 33% of the automation tools, and in the manufacturing they are using the 52%, whereas in the energy they are using the 53%. In retail, they're using the 54%, whereas in the insurance, they're using the 58%, and in the telecoms, so they're using the 63%. So overall, in the telecoms, so mainly they're using the highest percentage, or they're investing in the automation tools here. So, for example, if you're taking the healthcare, okay, so when patient is going to the hospital, previously it will be manual, so they has to update each and every data through the paper. Now you need to carry any paper. So if you are going to the multi-specialty hospitals, okay, so here the patient no need to carry any paper, so automatically everything will be automation. So just we need to tell the number or the name or the telephone number. So based upon that, they're going to search the whether we have registered previously or we are duly registered, and after telling, so the patient details will be moved to the doctor, and it will move to the blood sample. Like that, it will be moving without any paperwork. So then mainly they're using these automation tools without having more spending amount in the paperwork. Okay, and here the main importance of automation is clear. Means in business and the customers demands faster processing of goods and services. So mainly in the business and the customer demands, so this automation is very helpful. So that process automation can not only improve your business, and also it will be protect your continuity. So when you're, for example, I told that when you are using the healthcare sectors, so without using any paperwork, it will be the data also will be very having the security and protections also will be provided here, and it will be checking with the help of the name. Okay, So the budget will be decreased here, and information can be transferred within a minute to the from one place to the another place here. The budget decreases driven by process automation. So that scale a company here need talented or invest in the innovation initiatives here. So mainly when you are taking the process automations, okay, the budget will be decreased here. Okay. So when you're using the modern tools and the technologies, so this will be very helpful for the companies or the organizations to minimize the cost here. Okay. In the healthcare organizations, mainly we are having the high administrative cost here. But with the help of the process automations, they are having the database software to monitor the bill processing, and time and budget spent on this task will be decreased. So with the help of these process automations, these tasks will be minimized here, and it will be very helpful, and automatically the information will be generated. And telehealth. Okay, nowadays mainly the people will be very eager to have the telehealth. Okay, so we have the patient portals as well as the healthcare apps, and automation technology will be generating the billing and also payment and painless process. Okay, nowadays directly we can no need to give the directly cash. We can have the scan, or we can give the credit cards. It will be the payment will be very easy here. That's why that is the main importance of the automation, and mainly in the industry also they're using the more process automations so that the work will be very smoothly happen. So the business leaders should consider an automation strategies so that the transmove from their business, it will be having more competitive. So when you are having the modern tools and the technologies, they're going to compete with the market. So and competitive will be very high here. Okay, and also what are the main benefits of the automation? We have the efficiency. So mainly we are checking that efficiency, productivity, okay, and reduce the errors, and employee satisfaction and retentions, compliance, scalable process, customer satisfaction, and cost savings, and eliminate paper-based process. This in the automation, the main thing is human intervention is very less, and they're going to eliminate the paper process. So here, these are the main advantages of the automation. So now we'll discuss in detail about how we are going to improve this automation. The first one is continuous integration and deployment. So when you're implementing this continuous integration and deployment, so they're using the automate to build, test, and deployment the process so that it will be very helpful to minimize the manual intervention and the potential errors. This automation will be very helpful to minimize the errors. Okay, and these tools will be mainly how like Jenkins, Travis CI, or uh, GitLab CI. So these are the automated where they're going to minimize the errors. And next one is automated testing. So automated testing is mainly used like a framework like Selenium for UI testings, or JUnit for unit testing, or PA test for the Python based projects. So this will be very helpful for the automated testing frameworks and minimizing the code, and automatically it will be generating the different types of the test cases and providing the quality of the software. So here they're using the different types of the regressions to meet the software quality. Next one is infrastructures as a code. So when you're using the tools like Terraform, AWS Cloud Formations, or Azure Resource Manage, this will be automated and managing the different types of the infrastructures, resources, and it will be very helpful for configuration of the code and enabling the different types of the versions, maintaining the consistency, and producing the different platforms to support the different types of the platforms for the reproducibility in the different environments. Next one is task automations. So in the task automations, when the employee task automations using like Ansible, Puppet, or Chef, so it will be very helpful for the communication between the server configuration and installation of the software, and maintaining the software in the particular servers of the client. So They can use the script and the workflows to automate the common project management. So it will be generating the reports and updating the document and sending the notifications to the clients of the software development. Next one is issues and bug tracking. So it will be very helpful to track the issues and the bugs. Uh, they're using the mainly software like Jira, Trello, or Asana to automate workflows and find out for the issues, different types of the issues, and triggering and changing and resolutions of the different types of the issues and the bugging. Automatically, it will be configuring the notifications and alerted to the team members for the project status and pending of the deadlines. Next one is code review automations. The code, so it will be integrating the code such as the Gerrit or the GitHub actions. So it will be how the automation code review process, and also it will be set up the code reviews like a guidelines and have the different types of the code quality and providing the more security vulnerabilities and code standard compliance will be it will be automatically check the in detail about the different types of the criteria in the code review automations. Next one is documentation generation. In the documentation generation, we have the automated project documentation tools like Spinix. Mainly it will be used for the Python projects or Oxygen or Java Doc. So mainly it will be integrated for the CI or CD pipelines for the documentation up to date for the code changes and having the performance monitoring and the optimization. So here it will be implementing the different types of the automated monitors like Prometheus, Grafana, or Datadog to continuously monitor like applications performance and the resource utilization. So this will be very helpful for the resource allocations very dynamically. So whenever the resources are required, so it will be uh, minimized and optimizedly it will be providing the resources and also it will be eliminating the more performance issues in the particular automated alerts. Next one is version control and branching strategies. So it will be having giving the alert like different types of the versions and providing the automated code integrations and release management will be happening here. And the last one is training and onboarding. So here mainly they are going to develop the automated training modules and onboarding process will be there. So different types of the members and providing the new team members and necessary resources will be provided and knowledge has to be contributed to the projects very efficiently and effectively to the training persons. Okay. So here we have seen that till now we have seen that the main benefits of the improving the automations. Now we'll see the what are the main challenges in the software development. The first challenge is complexity. So when you are using the automation tools, it will be providing more complexity for configuring and using that particular automation tools and the software. This will be mainly impact for the features and the options where we need to use for the users for the new to the automation. So if the user is not having the sufficient knowledge on the automation tools, he is unable to handle that particular tools and the software. It is very difficulty to have the existing technology stacks here. And next one is cost. So when you're using this automation, the cost, numerous cost reduction benefits will be there. Sometimes the price will be very high here and expensive of the software will be very high here when you're using for the small business. Okay. And here next one is it is very difficult for the some companies to adopt this automation because for the small or the medium companies they're not afford to purchase the automation tools. So it is very difficulty to adopt for the small companies here. And next one is resistance to change. Some developers may be resistant to change, but few of them they not adopt to the new automation tools and the practices. So it is very difficult to have these changes for the new automation tools and practices. So there are the various factors will be there like fear of job displacement or the lack of understanding of the new automation tools and the technologies. So it will be very hectic for the some people to adopt this new tools and the technologies for the automation. So they need to practice more to incorporate these automation tools and the practices. Okay, so these are the main references I have referred for this topic. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.